What would you be if you are what you eat?
Chicken. Because I eat a shit ton of chicken.
What would I be?
You'd also be a chicken.
A chicken cone, ice
You
cream
would be
cone.
a hot wing, specifically.
I'd be a buffalo covered
You would
naked
be,
chicken.
yeah, you would be a buffalo wing.
You know that I feel good. Doing things I never
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Feast or Famine with the Youngs.
We're the Youngs. This is another rousing edition of...
I don't know what I'm doing. Is that where you're going with that?
Kinda. That works.
Well, we finish
We'll
each
keep it.
other's.
Sandwiches.
Yep. Finish each other sandwiches. I don't know
can't-
that melody of it.
It's in Frozen.
It is in Frozen.
I think I've seen the movie Frozen one time. Mm-hmm. Have you seen it more than one time?
I don't even think I've seen the whole thing one time. I think I've seen parts of it, but not the whole thing.
How can we quote that part?
I don't know. I don't know. We have a topic that was your idea, babe. What are we talking about?
Basically, I don't like starting podcasts like that. Just right in. Just
You want to shoot the shit?
diving into the shallow end.
You want to shoot the shit?
Diving into the shallow end.
I don't know what do you want to talk about? You just said that we dodged a huge storm, apparently.
Yeah, it hailed like a lot.
Yeah, nothing happened over here.
I know.
It was windy.
I looked at the radar and it was literally just right above us.
Nice.
And it was red, like all red.
Really bad?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's okay at home.
Yeah. It went right above us.
Well-
like Florissant, Hazelwood, Ferguson, and
Okay.
Illinois.
Okay. Well, we were podcasting, so that's good. That
You
we
can
missed
usually
it.
tell when you watch these or listening to these podcasts when like the last one of the episode is from the marathon days that we record, because we don't just talk nonsense at the beginning of it. We just jump right into the topic.
Yeah.
Because at that point we're pretty much tapped out from extracurricular conversation.
Well, and if you watch on YouTube, full disclosure, between this podcast and last week's podcast, I didn't even get up from my chair.
She's been here all week.
So Alex went potty and I waited, and now we're filming our fifth podcast today.
She has not stood up for a week
Oh my god.
because this is live.
Coming at you live
Regis
from
and Kelly.
St. Charles at the Young Studio.
We need like a Saturday Night Live intro if we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Get a shot of the sign.
Do you want to tell them what our idea is that we need to work on getting together to implement? Because I'm actually really excited about it.
What idea?
Well, I don't want to say it if you don't want to talk about it.
Whisper it in my ear. No, we're not going to talk about that yet.
Oh, come on.
We have a really good idea for this podcast.
We should tell them.
No.
Babe, come on.
No,
They're
no.
going to hate us now.
Good. And make him stick.
No!
It'll make them wait for the idea, because every episode's going to be like, is this it? No. You'll know when it's...
I will say it's going to be like a segment that we would hope that we can keep going, but it's a segment that's like not every
It's a
not
slightly
gonna
different
be-
format of the podcast.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a once a month segment. It's probably going to be like a once a quarter maybe, because it's going to take a lot of planning.
Yeah. I do want to do that, but I don't want to talk about it yet.
Okay, my bad. All right, well, what are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about the people around you.
Okay.
Obviously, in general, in life,
Yeah.
they say you are the average of the people you surround yourself with.
Like you are what you eat.
What would you be if you are what you eat?
Chicken. Because I eat a shit ton of chicken.
What would I be?
You'd also be a chicken.
A chicken cone, ice
You
cream
would be
cone.
a hot wing, specifically.
I'd be a buffalo covered
You would
naked
be,
chicken.
yeah, you would be a buffalo wing. And it would be a drummy, because you don't like the flats.
I'll eat the flats. So wait,
I only eat the flats.
would I be the whole chicken
fact.
that's just not feathered and just covered in sauce?
No, you would be one tiny little drummy.
Carrying a French fry?
Carrying a French fry. And your purse would be ranch.
Why would I be carrying a
Okay,
purse?
a backpack. Whatever.
It'd be in my Stanley cup
Okay.
of ranch.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to ask Rob to draw
That.
like you as a buffalo chicken wing
Holding
a French fry, but then also having like a cup of ranch. I'm about to like literally text him. Be like, I'll shoot you like $50.
I need you to draw this for me, and it's going to be crazy.
It's going to be so good.
But I know
though.
Rob can do it because he took my...
He'll put like a hat on you or something.
He took my...
Robo-Bear.
Robo-Bear.
He nailed that.
He just asked for words, and I said Robo-Bear, and it was the best thing ever.
So good.
I should take a picture and post it because it is great.
Yeah, he's very, very talented
Anyway,
artist.
what were we saying? Oh, you are the average of the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah, and then I said you are what you eat.
Okay. Anyway,
Alex had his original idea was called something else, which I thought was a little vulgar for our podcast.
a little sharp.
It's a little sharp. But in true Alex fashion, a lot of his comments are that way.
am I allowed to say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, I wanted to call it lose the dead weight.
Yeah, which I was like, we're not going to talk about death.
It's not-
that's a little
not-
harsh.
No, it's not, dead weight is not death.
No, but it's like,
The dead weight. When you talk about the dead weight, you're talking about the things in your life that are
bringing you down.
bringing you down and keeping you from going up.
Yeah.
It's like walking around with ankle weights on your legs.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
And when I say that, I mean it in a term of like in the business specifically. Every business has a point in time where there are people involved that are just not helping to push the business forward. So,
But that's also
it's not
not-
always people. It's not always people. Sometimes it's systems.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's your workflow. Sometimes it's your time management. Sometimes it's literally the environment that you put yourself in.
But I would say it's not always just like business oriented too.
But I was
mean,
more speaking business side.
Yeah. I think that it coincides with life too. Like if you surround yourself with people who are perpetually negative, that's going to flow into your overall life and business.
But that's not really where I was going with this. Was
Okay.
like, because that whole thing, I think that's a whole different topic.
Okay.
This is more finding the things in your life or your business that are pulling you back. And it's, yes, the negative people around you that are causing just perpetual negativity in your life are one of those things. But it's not that simple.
Okay.
Because like I said,
Can you
it could
elaborate
be
on that?
people, it could be systems, it could be where you work. Like,
Give us an example
for example,
you.
the studio.
Like this studio that we're in?
Let's say the studio that we're in.
Okay.
If I was editing all day in one of these areas of the studio and put my computer up, I would not be able to be productive because of how many people walk by and just stare in and make comments and you can hear them. Because that is not a productive area.
Okay. So where's the dead weight?
The dead weight is in the studio and the fact that I'm doing that kind of work in the studio.
And it's not propelling you forward.
Right.
Okay.
And that's just like the most surface level example.
Yeah.
And that's honestly not why we got the studio. So
Right.
it's fine.
Yeah. So what's an example personally for you
Okay.
that where you've had to cut the dead weight?
Okay. So this is like a twofold thing for me and for the people I'm referring to. And I honestly didn't realize it was like relevant to me until after the fact.
Yeah.
My previous production job that I worked in full time, I worked as an editor producer for a company for doing TV shows. That was I was working there at the time that you started doing photography and started this business actually.
Yeah. And you liked it at first, right?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I would, to this day, I would still enjoy it. But what happened was because we started the business while I still worked there, we were day one, we were both working on growing the business.
Right.
So I was always balancing both, just like you were.
We get that question a lot, by the way. It's like,
You can actually speak to dropping the dead weight more matter of fact with Boeing.
I'll get into that. You finish yours.
So for me, I would find myself getting my work done, honestly, in the time that I needed to get it done. I wasn't really behind on anything, but I wasn't really like
Trying your hardest.
I wasn't trying my hardest. I wasn't like pushing myself to propel the company forward, because I would also make sure I wanted to have time to think through things, even though, like, I wouldn't like take away from my work,
Right.
but I would also want to make sure that I was like writing down ideas, and
So you weren't like 100%.
I wasn't 100% invested in the company
anymore because we were starting
because
our own.
our business was blowing up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was growing faster than we expected.
Yeah. Praise God.
So fast forward to when I got let go.
Mm-hmm.
It was in September of 2018. You had just quit Boeing in June.
Mm-hmm.
We had just closed on our house at the end of February.
Yeah.
All in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a tumultuous, what does Chris say? What's the word? Tumultuous year?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good word.
That is a good word.
Anyway, so my boss brought me into his office, was totally not expecting this at all.
Yeah.
Like, not even at all. And we had a conversation. And the short version of the conversation was, we need somebody that is going to be here and invest and is in it 100%.
Yeah.
You do great work, but when we look at your what you're doing and how you're working, you're not giving 100%.
Yeah.
We see you giving 100% to these other things that you're working on, which is great.
Well, you weren't even giving 100% to the other things because you still had another job. So you weren't giving 100%
I was splitting
anywhere.
everything.
Yeah. You weren't giving 100% to anything.
But he basically said, quote, you are more of a person who needs to be running a business than working for someone else.
Yeah.
And we recognize that. And because this is a smaller family production company, they saw that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that they saw that. And in hindsight, I was very disappointed and very upset and not happy at the time.
Right.
In hindsight, they did me a favor.
Yeah.
I got a good severance package from it. So they literally let me
Work it through
with the severance package.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, you're fired, get out of here, nothing.
Right.
And we were able to build this fully, and I was able to put 100% into this.
Yeah.
Because they recognized that.
Yeah. I feel like, honestly, it was kind of a compliment, but also, like, I understand that if it would be the same for us. Like, if we were hiring someone, like, we want someone to be fully invested in our brand and our company. So I do not blame them at all. Like, I totally understand where they're coming from. At that time, oh my God, I was stressed.
Oh, for sure.
I was so stressed.
It took a while to actually, like, see, and because we hadn't invested the time yet to build this.
But it was that job that was weighing you down. Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's where
honestly,
you're getting to.
Yeah, honestly, if it hadn't been for that decision being made, I could potentially still be working there.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't be where we are.
Right. Exactly.
And that gets me to the main topic is twofold. I was their dead weight because I wasn't giving them 100%.
Right.
And they were my dead weight, our dead weight, because being there wasn't allowing me to give 100% to this.
Well, it also, we don't have to really get into it, but also it was just kind of a toxic environment for you.
Yeah.
And I think that you were just spreading yourself thin across so many different things that it started to impact our relationship and our marriage and the way that we treated each other. So I know that, like, on the last podcast, we've talked about, like, how we're obsessed with each other and we are and things like that, but it hasn't always been like that.
That started about that time, though.
Yeah.
Because before that, we weren't spending basically every waking hour together.
Yeah. So our marriage grew a lot from being able to be together, but that was a hard time.
It was. But
yeah,
like I said, in hindsight, it's the
best thing that happened.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I'm thankful that it happened that way because, like I said, I probably wouldn't have done that on my own.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have left that job. It was a good job, decent pay, good benefits. Why would I just leave that?
And it taught us to be, like, uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. That was like our first big test in discomfort.
Yeah, for sure. And the same as you already mentioned it, the same for me was Boeing. Like, that was kind of like my quote unquote dead weight. That's what held me down. I thought that that's what I wanted to do. Like, I had the goal to work there. Like, that was my goal, was to get a job at Boeing, and I did that. And then quickly realized that this is not what I want to do. This is not where I'm supposed to be.
The benefits there were fantastic.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I miss those. But yeah, and I think the thing that people probably don't want to hear is I relate this back more so to people and environments that you put yourself in and things like that. Like the choices that you make, the people you surround yourself with. We've had people who have been in our lives, and it doesn't necessarily take one circumstance or one thing to realize like
we need to
distance ourselves. It's more of just like an energy thing, at least for me. And you start to see like a toxicity.
Right.
And it's like seeping into your life. And then you catch yourself like being either negative or having a certain type of mindset or, you know, whatever the case might be. And you have to take responsibility. Mm-hmm. And you have to have that either have a hard conversation or just slowly step back and set boundaries.
Right. And it really comes down to recognizing that, because there are so many people.
How do you recognize that though? Like what if someone is like, so like, hindsight's 20/20.
Right. And
so like, how do you recognize that?
That's a tough question, but like,
because you didn't even recognize it when you quit your job. It took the act of getting laid off and seeing the positive, which didn't happen right away. It took a while.
I think it really comes down to what your goals are and what your like true aspirations are and what you're actually going toward. If I were to look back and see that, my aspirations were to build this business and then just work this on the side because I could.
Yeah.
And just have extra money. But
yeah,
that's not realistic, because the time I would have still never been able to give all my time to that. And like I said, I don't think this business would be where it was, where it is now.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
But if you see yourself like just struggling to get where you are trying to get, you need to look at all the areas of your life and see if there's something that is just like
holding you back
from that, like literally being a dead weight.
I think it takes a lot of like self-reflection. And maybe if you're navigating that, like maybe journaling can help. Like,
right.
You know, even if it's like you're literally documenting or taking mental notes or whatever the case might be, like who you're hanging out with that day, where you're going, the places you're hanging out at. And then at the end of the day, being like, how did I feel today? Did I feel like I was inspired? Did I feel like people encouraged me? Or was it like shit talk and like negativity? Or, you know, is it a positive lifestyle or is it a negative lifestyle? You know?
But you also need to look at it not in a sense of today, because you're going to have days like that regardless of where you're at.
For sure.
And
but I'm saying if you do it day by day.
If it starts to become a consistent, perpetual thing.
That's what I'm getting at. Like if it's a pattern that you're starting to see, then maybe those are the things where you're like, okay, maybe I should step back.
We talk about it a lot. Everybody talks about it a lot. But it's not that simple, really, to just like recognize up front. That's why I think it's important to always keep in mind that idea. Just always be thinking about that. Mm-hmm. And if you find yourself in a position that you're either going backwards or something, figure out what the reason is. It could literally be as simple as changing your environment. Mm-hmm. Maybe you just need a vacation.
Yeah, clear your mind. Clear your head.
It doesn't necessarily have to be like, this person is just perpetually negative and they're dragging me down, so I'm going to cut them out of my life. It's not that. It doesn't have to be that
dramatic.
Drastic.
Yeah.
It could literally be that you're burnt out.
Sometimes, you know, and this is harder to do, especially now, but sometimes it's like I take a couple days off social media and like regroup, because I feel like you can get so like, I was going to say manipulated, but I don't know if that's the right term.
I think the word you're looking for is
like you can just
consumed.
Yes. You get so consumed by social media and trends and everything, and then you start to relate everything back to it as far as business or strategy or, you know, whatever the case might be. And honestly, it's been a long time since I've taken like a social media hiatus, And I think when we go on our trip in November, I'm going to do that.
I'm actually going to talk to Joe about that.
Yeah.
Because I'm obviously,
It's
because
necessary,
it's a
dude.
business, we still need to make sure we're showing up in some capacity.
Yeah.
So we'll probably like plan out what we're going to post for the week.
I mean, I could get on and make a post. I just have to have the self-control to not scroll or look at stories or anything like that.
Well, we can just turn off Wi-Fi
So,
on your phone.
well, I have to be able to post.
Joe can post. Just make them for Joe.
Yeah,
See,
maybe.
there's solutions.
Yeah.
You're just making excuses.
This is me not wanting to let go.
And really, because we're going to be in the mountains,
Yeah.
Turn the
Honestly,
Wi-Fi off
It
and
might be
we're-
hard anyway, but I need to probably do that. So if you're out there and you're like, hey, I should probably do that too, do it. Like,
I'm
set
literally
yourself
going to
up.
use it as a think tank vacation. I'm literally going to turn my brain off
Yeah.
and just be,
Hit the reset button.
and if so, honestly, I expect ideas or something to come from the trip because my intention is to do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you tell that we're ready for fall? Like, I'm so ready for fall.
Facts.
Oh my gosh. I'm tired of the heat. Yeah.
I think this might be a short one.
That's okay. I mean, what else? This was your idea, and I do think it's a good topic. A good self, reflection moment, a good reminder. I think, like the term, like, dress for the job that you want.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Does that relate to this?
I feel like it could relate to this because it's like,
I think
put yourself around the people and around the environment
dress
that
for
you
the
want to
job
be.
you want, I think, is an outdated ideology
Okay.
for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to go work in Wall Street, you're gonna need to wear a suit. I know you're gonna need to wear a nice fitted suit to make it look like
Yeah.
you're serious about
Yeah.
this and you know what you're doing. But in general, that's just I don't know.
I guess I was relating it back to like.
I guess you could
do you know
say
what I'm saying?
like,
Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah, like your mindset and friend group and in our industry, the gear you use, and
Here's a good
that's
example.
The dressing
Okay.
for
And as far as like what I just said, dress for the job that you want, like we set ourselves up in a way that we shoot luxury style events.
Mm-hmm.
And so we in turn need to dress the part. We don't show up in jeans and sneakers or, whatever, which
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong
It just
with that.
doesn't
If those
work
are the
for-
clients that you have, there's
or if
nothing
that's
wrong
what the
with
dress
that.
code for the wedding is.
Yeah, like go for it, bro. But like that's just not, we want to attract more clients. So when we're at a wedding and they see that we're in jackets and dress pants and they're like, oh, like they're serious, So I think that's kind of like where my mind went, but also in relation of
The topic.
of put yourself where you want to be, like put yourself in the environment that you want to be in.
I think I mentioned this in another episode. Yeah, the Q&A, I mentioned this.
Mm-hmm.
Find 5 people that are doing what you want to be doing or what you're actively doing that are vastly more successful than you are, and make friends with them.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, here's another example of what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
Our chiropractor is full of lots of different people, different types of
Oh,
people.
the office, yeah.
But the majority of the people who come in to see Wyatt are athletes, are people who work out all the time. They're part of S2. They're part of First Form. They're inspirational type people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, we haven't talked about this, but I don't know about you, but I go in there and I feel some sort of conviction that I have not worked out in a little bit. So it's kind of to caveat back to like what we're talking about, putting ourselves in a situation of, okay, yeah, we're going to the chiropractor, we're working on PT to like get our bodies right. But also the place that we chose is a place full of inspirational people because those are the types of people that we want to surround ourselves with.
Right.
I could find an amazing chiropractor in an office full of 90-year-olds, but I already act 90. I don't need to act more 90.
Right. I get that.
So it's kind of like the same thing, you know?
Well, and that woman you were talking to today, her weight loss journey is insane.
Yeah, she's super inspirational.
And she made the comment to you today that she said hi as soon as you walked in. She's like, it's funny, the people that you say are friends are just people you met at the chiropractor. Oh, that's a friend from the chiropractor.
Yeah. And they're like, and then you see that they're tagged in a social media post and you're like, damn, they're like killing it. Like, so anyway, I think just things down to like a simple, like a doctor's appointment. Like we're choosing people to, we don't have to go to Wyatt. We choose to go to Wyatt
It's
because
actually more inconvenient to go to Wyatt.
It is because he's far.
25 minutes away from the house when we have
in
much
the
closer.
opposite direction of everything else that we do. But we choose things like that in our lives strategically because of the energy and the type of people that we want to be around. Period.
Mic drop. Any final thoughts on that, or is that your final thought?
Well, we talked about Wyatt a lot, so we feel like we should really shout out Health Source.
Health Source in Baldwin, Missouri. If you're local to St. Louis, and you got some aches and pains, not even just your back,
some aches and pains.
Not even just your back, y'all. My shoulders.
Health Source, sponsor us.
My ankles. They're working on somebody's knee.
Honestly,
literally. Pain.
This isn't your regular old chiropractor.
No, like orthopedic type thing.
Yeah,
before
seriously.
Going to an orthopedic specialist.
Yeah.
If you got any kind of aches, go see Wyatt at Health Source. We'll link his Instagram.
Yeah. He's dope.
Tell him the Young sent you.
Yeah, he's dope. So,
he did not sponsor this, by the way.
No, but he could.
Sponsor us, Wyatt.
Okay, I think that's like it. This is a very short, sweet, to the point podcast.
We haven't had a nice short one in a while.
No, so I hope you all enjoyed it. It's chill. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. So.
Alex is like, he's tapped out.
I don't know what I'm saying. Give us a like.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever the things are.
You were about to do your little YouTube thing, but this is not just YouTube.
This is the podcast, not the YouTube. It's different.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
We do need some reviews. So if you enjoy what you're listening to and you've made it this far to the episode, give us a review.
Give us a review. If it's overwhelmingly positive, it's not.
If it's negative, leave that to yourself. If it's negative, why are you still listening at this point? This is the end of the podcast.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we have for you this week. And I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.